Writing purposes. Purposes show why your organisation was set up and the difference it will make. They help everyone involved work towards the same goal, and they also help people outside, like funders and the local community, understand what you do. Purposes are sometimes called aims or objects. If you grow into a registered charity or a social enterprise, they will also be a vital part of your governance. So getting them right early on will be a big help. As we talk about how to write your purposes, we will be focusing on these as if you were starting a charity. However, if you think your new group might not be a charity, we can always talk to you about alternatives. Charity purposes must be for the public benefit. This means you must be able to show clearly what the benefit is, and it must be of benefit to the public in general or a large section of it. For example, everyone in the parish area or all children in the county. Purposes must also fall into at least one of the descriptions of the purposes in the Charities Act. These range from things like the prevention or relief of poverty to the advancement of animal welfare. These are very broad and you might fall into several. If you don't think your organisation meets any of these, it might be that you're not a charity. We can help you consider the other structures that might be right for you, but it is still helpful to set out your purposes. It sounds more complicated than it is, but thinking about what category your charity falls into and the difference it makes really helps. You can see the 13 descriptions of purposes on the Charity Commission website on the address at the bottom of the slide. What needs to be included? Quite simply, your purposes should include the what. That's what difference you will be making. How? How will you make that difference? Who? Who will you benefit? And where? Where will you operate? The Charity Commission provides a good example of this, which is for the public benefit, the relief and assistance of people in need. This is the what. In any part of the world, this is the where. Who are the victims of war or natural disaster? This is the who. By supplying them with medical aid. This is the how. We will look more closely at each of these as there are some key points for all of them. We've also got some good top tips to help you out. What difference is your charity going to make? It can help to think about why you started it in the first place, as this often can be because you noticed a need for something. It's a good idea to see which of the 13 descriptions or purposes it meets, as these often help you to talk about the difference you will make. Try to use standard terms if you can, such as to provide, or the provision of, to relieve, or the relief of. Use the words for the public benefit to show that the purposes are intended to be charitable. For example, the relief of unemployment for the public benefit. Think about how you would like to make this difference. It's really important to keep this reasonably broad so you don't limit how you could operate in the future. You can do this by using wording like by providing information, by providing advice, by raising awareness, by carrying out research, by making grants, by providing accommodation. These are broad enough that they could allow you to operate in different ways, but specific enough to explain what you do. In the last slide, we used the example, the relief of unemployment for the public benefit. You might be doing this by providing one-to-one support sessions, but to keep your purposes broad enough to allow you to do this in different ways in the future, you could say, the relief of unemployment for the public benefit by providing advice and information. You can use the phrase in particular by, but this could restrict how you operate. It's less restrictive to say in particular, but not exclusively by. Some charities will only be able to support a certain area or group of people. For example, a playground can only benefit a certain geographical area, usually the parish, but it is available to anyone in the area, the general public. You will need to think about who you are trying to help. Is it people living in a certain area, experiencing a particular issue, or a particular age group? It is important to try to be inclusive where possible. You might only be able to support people in Norfolk right now, but in 5 years you could get funding to work across Norfolk and Suffolk. If your purposes don't say who or where it benefits, it could be assumed that anyone in the world could benefit. Here are some top tips to help you get your purposes right. Sometimes less is more. It is usual to have somewhere between 3 and 5 purposes. It can feel hard to condense everything you want to achieve down, but the more you have, the harder it will be for people to have a clear idea of what you do. Try to keep them broad and clear so it's obvious what you do without restricting you. Charities change and grow, so try to make your purposes future-proof so that you can adapt how you work to best meet the needs in the future. Think about how to express what you do carefully. Terms like good causes or community cohesion can relate to things that aren't charitable, so it's important to make sure the words you use have a clear focus. Don't confuse your purposes with your activities. Your activities are how you achieve your purpose and can change over time. It's a good rule of thumb never to use acronyms or jargon in official documents, and this is true here. It can become dated and not everyone will have the same understanding as you. Finally, remember you can check your draft purposes with our development team. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you now feel comfortable to try to put down your purposes. For more information, please contact us at office@communityactionnorfolk.org.uk.